This is day 948 of Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. This week's Arukh HaShulchan Yomi is sponsored on Erev Shabbos Kodesh, Parshas Vayigash, and Chavod Shabbos Kodesh. Many thanks to the generous donor. We are doing today Siman Tov Reish Lamed Tes, Sif Yud Aleph, Tov Reish Lamed Tes, Sif Yud Zayin. Yeah, Finek Vadis by the Shenach Hamor Me'achila. We already mentioned that sleeping is more severe than eating. That even to sleep, a temporary sleep, a nap is also. The belt nowadays is lenient about sleeping. Certainly in Lithuania, in Navardik, Shav or wherever Navardik was, Latvia, Lithuania, I don't remember which one. Ramah speaks about which are lenient nowadays in sleeping. She'ain shame. So the ones who sleep people don't sleep. Sukkah rakam medaktim b'mitzvos, or those who are meticulous in mitzvos. Yeshem mishum tzina. Some say it's because of cold. It provokes anguish that they have to sleep outside sukkah in cold places. Believing rat, to me it seems as Ramah, mishum the mitzvah sukkah ish beso. The mitzvah sukkah is to be able to sleep with your wife. Husband wife like to sleep entire year. Place you can't sleep with your wife. So you don't have your own private sukkah. Potter, you're exempt. Mr. Brewer says about this. The girl argues on this. Well, you're not potter on that account. Also, this is not a reason to exempt you. But we're still in the middle of the Ramah. But it's best when you be there with your wife. The entire year. You can have a private sukkah. You can't ask how you at all if you can't be together with your wife. Later on, we're going to see that the sukkah is not suitable for sleeping, and a sukkah so it's not a sukkah for eating. That's the question. That which is not suitable for sleeping means a person that can't sleep there at all. As we shall see in the next siman. It's not about a place where you could sleep, as you may see by that because of another reason, and you can't sleep there. And it says what the Mogav Ram brackets. It says that the Mogav Ram says means the end of self-sifkan ches. Vraya Brul is that clear evidence for this. The Shir Sukkah have a shiva shiva tvachim. Shir Sukkah 7 by 7 tvachim. Pshita then hurl shnaim. Obviously, the people can't sleep in a 7 by 7 sukkah. If one person started to sleep in such a restricted area, came out piat chak yochel yismoch since even since with difficulty you can lean and doze off, that's good enough. Choshkim b'chaygam is certainly the case where if you can sleep there by yourself. You base on the ikar times at Tamuma, but this reason given the Ramah is very difficult, all right? But more lately the Rav cloud Teshu came to do Rav doesn't say that you need Teshu came to do in terms of husband and wife. Abai says this, okay, I'm like a Rava. We're like Rava. You know what I mean? I still a Rava. Hach Rasha, the Teshu came to do. And for this Rasha, according to Rava, of Teshu came to do comes for other purposes. Learn many things of it. And even Abai, his language is, I would have thought to say this, lost in the Yonzeh. So the conclusion does come to this purpose. Sign Sham. This is brackets. Having mitzvah. Well, okay, maybe it's not a Teshu came to do heter, maybe it's a mitzvah heter, because you just have to sleep without your wife. And you know that. There's not relevant here. If you have to go inside for a bit with your wife for a while, so then you go inside for that time, but it doesn't exempt you altogether. In the beginning of Erchin, there's a requirement. He says that even though they can't be with their wives, whatever way they can fulfill their obligation, there's full obligation. Appears Rashi Sham, came to do. Even they can't do full to do, they have to do whatever they can, and they're responsible to do that. Besides the V'lochal Moshe Misin, as the sukkah is 7 by 7. As we said, Vari Bavadai, Ivshal Yosham, Ivshno. Can't be there with your wife. Bracket says, Gam Rayas Magavram, Mimash Koiso Yotzim Sukkah Achas. Vada ain't a Roy Lizette. Obviously, if you're all body cells in one sukkah, you're not sleeping together with your wife. Raya Brui, it's clear. It's evidence it doesn't have to be Teshuk to the ultimate hilt. It says it, whatever, there's different yourselves. Yud Gimel. However, it seems to me, the main reason, the first reason, Mishum Tzina, because it's cold. That's funny, our northern countries. Rov Hashonim, most years, as Mount Carmel, because it's very cold by Sukkot. Vein Lo Mitzvah Yosim says there's no greater mitzvah than that. Sometimes you can get hurt, damage your health by sleeping outside. Besides, it says behold, the person who's suffering is exempt from the sukkah. Man. Our sukkahs, in most of them, it causes anguish to sleep in the sukkah. Moshe says that, like we see this quite clearly. There are very few people who don't suffer anguish from sleeping in the sukkah. Therefore, lenient, customers be lenient. Come, any creation in Rilashenik Moshe if you don't, nevertheless, not call a sukkah which is not suitable for sleeping. I would say there's no greater sukkah which is not suitable for sleeping than a sukkah which is 7 by 7. Come, nevertheless, so with difficulty you can sleep there. It's kosher. If you attack him in this manner, you're exempt. So it says the Yirei Hashem, even in the Vardak, should be mahader to sleep in the sukkah. Where it says if somebody doesn't have proper pillows and blankets, keep yourself warm, and it's cold, you should not be machmir to sleep there because you're called a hedyot. You're put to sleep there, and you should not sleep there. Yudah kasar ampeg vavdin zayin. Achila b'leil yontav rishon b'sukkah. To eat them for the first night of sukkahs in the sukkah chova, it's obligatory. I feel achak zayis pasi yotzei dechobaso. Even you ate a bread, that's enough. Mishabur says that's when you don't have any more. But if you have more, it's appropriate to eat more than a kibetza in order to be yotzei. Also, those who hold that to be yotzei, the mitzvah say you have to eat more than a kibetza. But the Rambam says more than kazayis is optional. But when you want to eat a meal, you eat in the sukkah. If you want, you don't have to eat all 7 days. Only fruit or toasted grains. What's the sukkah? Which allowed to eat out the sukkah. And the status of eating the night of first night of sukkah is like the status of eating matzah the first night of Pesach. According to the Rambam, there's no obligation to eat bread at all except for the first night. Doesn't mean you have to eat bread on the Yom, only the pleasurable meat and wine. He only mentions, but in Shabbos, that there's an Indian of 3 bread meals. And Yom doesn't mention any obligation except for the first night. That's the Rosh B'sukkah. Abrachas lo kasu came. The Rosh and Teslas Rosh write similarly in Sukkah, but not in Brachas. Ram B'sukkah Sham Kasav. The man writes Yeshchiv le'achol mezainis. V'lo pasha motzi. Okay, you don't have to eat motzi, but you have to eat mezainis. Ushayim mash b'heged B'sukkah Sham Gedas and Teslas Rosh B'sukkah Ayin Sham. Ushayim sounds like the Teslas and Rosh in Sukkah. But quite Kasam le'el le'el b'sim tavkuf chavtesi. Yur Gimel Ayin Sham. Allah and Yerkadasa runs out. Allah seems like that, the opinion ran that Mazona suffices. Nevertheless, if you gotta say even though you weren't obligated to eat bread, Maxirus make it go back. Interesting, because also in the bracha of Al Michya we mentioned Yontif, so therefore it's obligatory to mention it. And if you're benching, you should go back and bench it. Okay, I'm not sure I follow that fully, but that's what he's saying. The chiddush is a big chiddush. Say like the Ran that you only receive mizonos on Yatif, but that's what he says. The bracket says here, Gambar Zurgel Sukkah, Simishina Pasuk Taste Sukkah, that you don't have to eat Hamotzi except for the first night. Chenaba goes to Shri Sham. Tesvar Rabbeinu, it says Sivgil Pasuk Levi Rambam. But it says the Pasuk is like the Rambam. So the Mishnah Berurah says that the Beis Yosef Pasuk and the Rambam only in terms of Chol Moed. On Shabbos Yotiv you have to eat Kazayis bread, but not because of Sukkah. Mogen Avram says that you need a kibbutz or more. That's a mitzvah ba'alma l'chatchila, but the average Kazayis is sufficient. So the Ramah writes in the Beis Yosef Shleich Haba Rishana Ad Shihei Vadei Laila. Should not eat the Kazayis at night, the first night until it's definitely night. Yachal Kodem Chatzos Laila and eat before Chatzos, like Pesach. V'lo yachal b'yoyim erev Sukkos michatzos ve'elach, and you should not eat during the day of erev Sukkos from Chatzos and Hakadosh Yochal b'Sukkot Te'avon. So she eat with appetite in the Sukkah that evening. Melchas matzah, just like we could tell eating matzah in Eve of Pesach. But so the reason for this Rambam, the came to matzah to learn from matzah, being a domina matzah, you need to eat the similar to matzah. That right shouldn't eat. Period. When after chatzos, that's more severe than matzah. Shisham ain't it's like mishah asirus ulamala. Oh, that's not his point. His point is not about eating versus not eating versus not eating only matzah, but rather there it's enough to refrain from the 10th hour and beyond. Much time is tough to find out. My mission the kind of chol pass hichmer yoseh. Maybe here because since you can eat. No, he's talking about eating in general. No, it says the issue of eating in general on our Pesach is only from mincha ktana, and here he seems to be asking to eat even from mincha gdoila. So he says it's perhaps because here you can also eat bread on Erev Sukkot, supposed to Erev Pesach. We're more machmir, and we tell you to stop earlier. Mishnah Berurah says that Achronim conclude that it's only also from the 4th hour after Chatzos, which is the 10th hour. That what you said not to eat before Chatzos. Outside that we said to finish to eat the gazayas of bread, Sukkot night before Chatzos is just a chumrah. Sharein b'matzah gufa by matzah itself pasuk Ramaresh perikva michametz umatzah. He passed in the beginning in the 6th parak chametz umatzah nechals kalayla that matzah can be eaten all night. Since some people by matzah it's only till midnight. As is machmir also by sukkah. Shabbat says, "B'yev you didn't eat before chatzos, you still have to eat after chatzos. And you can make a bracha, but then, interestingly enough, says after chatzos you shouldn't make a bracha until you eat, unless you eat more than a kibetza. So the bracha of leishim b'sukkah you would only make till chatzos. You can make a zayis. After chatzos you're going to make on a kibetza. Okay. You should enumerate also another thing. During the entire day, during the rest, and this plays off Mishmur's idea we just learned, during the rest of Yontiv of Sukkot, a kazayis, you're a bread, it's to be achilas arai. You'll sukkah. Eat outside the sukkah. You shouldn't have a keva. But the first time sukkah, it's to be achilas kvav, also sukkah. Now I eat outside the sukkah. The Alfina in Pesach. Because when I'm basically Mashed Yerushalmi, this seems to be explicit in the Yerushalmi. Sharatzian says, this is all before you fulfill the mitzvah b'chil sukkah. But after you fulfill the mitzvah being in the sukkah, in the first night of sukkahs, you can eat anything less than kibetza outside the sukkah. Tesayin, od kasab b'sofa is the substitute. He also writes, in terms of rain, there's the first night. More than the rest of the holiday. But the rest of the holiday, if it rains, you can leave your sukkah and leave. You can leave your sukkah and go out. Later you'll say we don't go out, have a kadyot. They consider to be a fool. Kamoshi's words we shall see. You have the first night, you have to sukkah even if it's raining. The Mishnah Berurah says that some people have written that it's appropriate to wait till midnight. Perhaps the rain will pass. Then others wrote it's not worth waiting. Let's see what Arukh HaShulchan says. Arukh HaShulchan seems to say not to wait. Actually, we're not in the Arukh HaShulchan yet. We're still in the Beis Yosef. Our wife should make kiddush in the sukkah as well, or to say shachyon on the sukkah. End quote from Beis Yosef. Kein pasuk two of us smag. So smag more pasuk as well. But Gamaranko said it's Shano. Ran also writes Achem or Me'el say Lahaki Kamrinan Leila Yontav Ishish Chag Michaga Pamatzos. This is why you learn how to ride first night of sukkah is from Pesach. Lamar Shatel Shafil Yordik Shami even rain Chayav Lechol B'Sukkah. Adding the sukkah, Avogad Mitabah Shayama, even though it'll exempt you the rest of the days of sukkahs. Akal Shano. Chenkasava Rash Brachas. The Rashba Chidusha, but the Rashba right the Cholad Vaimelu. He rejects his Chenkasava Shem Rabba. He writes the name as Rebbe. It's normally understood to be the Ramban. Shein Chilip and Laila Rishon Cholad is not different the first night all the other nights. Chassav Shem Gadol had Durham Mitzvah. He writes the name of a great rabbi from France, who required to sleep in the sukkah the first night. Even if it's raining, at least a nap in the rain. The Dacha said the Rashi rejects it. Ayin Sham. Because of a smak, and so the smak wrote the same thing. Yud Zayin, the Tam Machleksa. The reason behind the Machleksa is that Paita, he knows exempt, you saw in the Bayina, Teishvuk in the Dur, you need to have sitting like you would live in your house. Person live in a house, does not live in a house where it's raining. What about the link to Chag HaMatzos? That means you should eat in the sukkah when you can see, when you can't eat in the sukkah. And thus the first night is not exempted from the principle of Teishvuk in the Dur. But Machayvin those require you to sit in the sukkah. Saturday they hold the Laila Rishona ain't because the sukkah's Teish was Yomin. It's not part of the general principle, the general obligation of sitting in the sukkah for 7 days. These are Teish came to do. We have to sit like you live in your house. Zel Kochag that's the rest of them. Have a Laila Rishona, but the first night you'll feel Chamisha Asar Michag HaMatzos is a new chiyuv. So now by Gzer Shav for Chag HaMatzos. This pasuk is the beginning of the parsha Emor. That's a separate derivation. Look, this part doesn't say sit. Not so you came to do it, so you should sit like you would dwell in your house. Where's the Teshu? With Sova parsha, a different part of the parsha. The sukkah's Teshu Shivas Yom. So you should sit for 7 days. Okay, now Shivas Yom is for the 7 days of the first night. Bina came to do it's got to be like huge well. Now the first night, the Chivim Rosh Parsha, whose obligation comes in the beginning of the Parsha. It's independent mitzvah. The kind mitzvah sukkah, fill the mitzvah sukkah, achila v'shena, eating and sleeping, k'moshi mechuyavim, the kind mitzvahs, achilas matzah b'leil rishon shel Pesach, just like we're required to fulfill the mitzvah achilas matzah first night Pesach. Afil mitzvah chayiv, you have anguish, you're still chayiv. V'chein b'sukkah, so do the sukkah. V'chein dai b'kazayis k'mo matzah, and that's why kazayis is enough. Like by matzah, you don't need to have a kibetza. But daibushen, that's right. It's enough to have a nap. So because that parallels eating a kazayis, shiva achila sarai, which is a snack eating. But Torah goes to the kind belief tonight. Torah decreed this without any stipulations. I feel mitzvah even have anguish. I feel yorik shami even rain is going down. That's like the minhag, like those who aser. I feel chaylish mitzvah having a sick person. Ramification, very big ramification. If you have a sick person who has anguish, in first night sukkah is not a ptur. Has to go if he can't hear kiddush and eat a kazayis. I feel right, but rain we draw the line. That we don't do even. We don't require you even to nap if it's raining. Because anyway we're lenient by sleeping much as we said. Furthermore, do laya hekesh lematzah ein el achila kematzah. Interesting. The inference of matzah for matzah only applies to eating, like matzah, not lo shena matzah, not to sleeping, which is not relevant by matzah. And bracket says any questions asked is resolved by what the Arukh HaShulchan says.